Alright, we are live on the MMA India YouTube channel from the UFC Fight Night London Media Day. Right in front of us we have Simon Head, my good friend. We've got Jade Morris here from Liverpool. We're going to be probably scrumming with Alexander Volkov first, and we've also got Stevie Ray, Terrion Ware, Peter Sobotta, Jack Marshman and Jan Blachowicz in part one of today's media day. So what the UFC has done today in terms of the schedule is they've split all the fighters in two. So we're going to have half the fighters scrum and available for interview opportunities. Then we're going to have the main card fighters face off on that stage over there. And then we'll continue interviews and the media scrums with the other half of the fighters who are available today. There you go, there's a bit of a better look for you now. You can see the lovely chandeliers here at Glazier's Hall in London Bridge. Lovely interior decor here at this wonderful venue in the heart of London, just a few minutes away from the world famous London Bridge. Pretty good turnout from media members here for UFC Fight Night London. A mixed bag of European reporters, British reporters and folks from overseas. So it's 11:45 now, so the fighters should be making their way over to everybody right now. And here they come. The fighters are making their way over to us right now. And here comes Alexander Volkov, dressed to impress.
Alexander, it's great to see you. You put on an impressive performance against Stefan Struve in Rotterdam. What can we expect against your fight against Blachowicz?
I believe that you will see most impressive performance in this event between Fabricio and London. So I'm feeling great, and I want to show all my best.
And you've obviously trained with him before. Do you feel like that can give you any advantages in this fight at all?
It's difficult to say really, because we train a lot of time before, like about 3-4 years, so we both changed. But some things give us, for me, for him, because we know better, both of us. I think that this will make our fight more interesting, because we don't need any looking for strategy. We'll go and do our job.
And he said that your strength is on the feet. Do you think he'll try and take you to the ground early on, him being somewhat of a submission specialist?
For sure. I think just 1K he can own me, just go to the ground trying to wrestle me and use his jiu-jitsu. But I prepare for this, so we will see how he do it.
And how do you predict the fight will go down? And what are your predictions for the fight?
I'm feeling that it will be a long fight. More than 3 rounds, maybe it will be decision, but anyway, I feel like I will win.
And where does the win over Verdum put you in the rankings?
Sorry?
And if you do win on Saturday night against Verdum, where does that put you in the rankings? He's currently ranked third.
Doesn't matter. I just going to the belt, and I believe that this fight, maybe one more, make me one of the guys who can fight for the belt.
What do you make of Daniel Cormier going up to heavyweight to challenge Stipe?
Really doesn't matter for me. I don't think about it. Everybody asks me about this fight. How good is it that Cormier going from his category to our, but it doesn't matter. It's a really good fight for both of them, and nobody now to fight with Stipe Miocic, so it really doesn't matter. I will be a fan in this night. I just sitting and looking at this fight, and we'll see what we do next.
Do you think people are underestimating you coming into this fight? Verdum is the bookie's favourite with the odds makers.
Always people underestimate me, so it doesn't matter for me.
And I have to ask, is your nickname still Drago?
Yes.
Were you a fan of Rocky IV growing up?
I was a fan of all of movies about Rocky, for sure, and especially Rocky IV because of Russian character in this movie. But I don't really take this name about this movie. More because of people think I look like Drago a little bit, and I'm from Russia also. That's why maybe I Drago.
And I have to ask, the UFC, keeps telling us that sooner or later they are going to enter the Russian market. Are you hoping to be one of the fighters that they can use when they do debut in Russia?
If it happens, it will be a very good opportunity to me to fight in Russia. Maybe a main card, maybe main event, who knows. For sure, I am like all fans in Russia waiting for this event in Russia. So it will be a big honor for me to fight in Russia anyway. And I think in this event also I represent not just Russia, I represent like all our Euro-Asian continent, means and another side is America by Fabricio Verdum, so it's like a little bit, I'm thinking European fans will be going for me because of that.
Fight against Verdum, because you've trained with him before, right? So
yes.
you kind of know each other.
What I expect from Brazilian television?
From your fight against Verdum.
I mean, what I expect from my fight?
Yeah, with Verdum, like, what do you expect? How did you prepare to fight against him? Is he a tough fighter? Like, what can you say about him?
He's a really tough fighter, really well-rounded and pretty smart. So he's one of the smartest fighters I ever met. I know it because I train with him. But my best things in fight I thought is brain too. So I think I'm too really smart fighter. So it will be a really interesting fight because of that. So I thought that this guy win who will be more smarter in this fight, and I expect that it will be me for sure. Thank you so much.
How do you prepare for a guy that's as good good as Fabricio is on the ground, I mean, he's a phenom in jiu-jitsu. He's considered one of the best jiu-jitsu players in all of the UFC. How do you incorporate that into your camp?
We have a pretty big team in Russia of jiu-jitsu, so I'm in this team. It's like his name is Strela team. It's like biggest team in Moscow of jiu-jitsu, BJJ and grappling also. So a lot of people from this team who can compete in a big competition in grappling jiu-jitsu helped me with this fight. A lot of great grapplers, a lot of great wrestlers helped me. So I truly think that I'm ready for everything he can show me. So because jiu-jitsu have a really long history in the UFC, and now we looking how jiu-jitsu going not so important in UFC than it was before. I mean, less and less people who have just jiu-jitsu became champions.
How good? Like, I mean, you've trained with him. Like, I mean, how highly do you rate that ground game?
He is really good in jiu-jitsu, and really, I saw biggest level than me for sure if we just doing jiu-jitsu, but we will not do jiu-jitsu in this day. We will do MMA. It's very difficult to do any submission or anything to guy who don't wrestle with you, don't make jiu-jitsu. So I will not wrestling with him. I will try to striking to knock him out. So for him it will be very difficult to submit him.
Do you feel you have an outright advantage in the striking department? Do you feel like that's where you win this fight?
For sure, but I feel this.
He has improved at striking, right? Fabricio, from his beginnings in UFC, he has improved.
He is really good in striking. I can't say that he's bad or like some kind of wrestlers. He's just wrestlers or jiu-jitsu guys. He's really good in striking, and he really smart use his striking skill. But I believe I'm better. That's why I'm sure that everything will be good.
What do you think the atmosphere is going to be like for you? Obviously, it's London, it's a big city, it's a main event slot. Do you think you're going to get a lot of support here from the fans in London?
As I told before, that I feeling that I represent not just Russia, I represent all Europe, all our land, our continent. So I trust that fans in London will support me too.
Alexander, you're the main event on Saturday. How has it been preparing for a main event?
Nobody giving love to Peter Sobotta, my old friend. How's it going?
Good, very good.
Good, I'm very well. Let's adjust this. It's been a while, Peter.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's almost a year since you last fought.
Yes.
And I remember covering the fight in Stockholm.
Yes.
And I remember following the fight. You had a hand injury, right? So let's talk about that. Let's recap the last kind of year almost. You had a severe hand injury. How long did it take to get over it? And how is the hand now?
So it was a pretty serious injury. I broke my left hand, and I'm a southpaw, so I broke my hand on 4 different places. And I had to wear a cast for 2 months, my hand like this. So it took me about 4 to 5 months until I got my strength back, until I was able to punch. So this forced me out for almost a year, but it wasn't like that I just were laying on the couch sleeping, but I improved. I trained really hard. I spent over 3 months totally in Thailand to train there. I trained hard at home, improved in many areas. I mean, I worked around the injury, and now I'm back. I'm ready. I'm ready to get into the top 15 of the welterweight division.
I love it. We're connected on social media, and I know in your personal life, a lot of changes. Correct me if I'm wrong, you got married and you had your honeymoon.
Yes.
What was that experience like for you?
I mean, it was very good. I'm now 31 years old, and I felt like when I became 30 years, a lot of things in my head changed. I became like more serious. So I had a very good girlfriend. I proposed. She said yes. So we got married last year.
Yeah.
And now our baby is on the way.
Oh,
I
wow,
will become a father. I will become a father in July. So yeah, everything is really good. I'm in a really good point in my life, not only about the fighting, but also in my private and personal life.
Yeah. Do you feel as you get older, but also being a fighter, being in the fight business and the fight game, do you feel like your priorities are slowly starting to change in terms of what you're fighting for?
Yes, for sure. I mean, at the beginning of my career, I was only fighting because I wanted to get some respect and I just like to be a fighter. Then I wanted to become the best. And now I have the feeling like I want my wife to stay at home, take care of the family, take care of everything. So I have to provide for her. I have to provide for my children. So I need to be good at what I do, and that gives me an extra drive and extra motivation for sure.
Talking about respect, your opponent feels as though he doesn't have the respect of the fans. Break it down for me. What are you expecting from him coming into this fight?
I don't pay very much attention to what my opponents say before the fight, but of course I heard some of the things he's saying, and I have a little bit the feeling that he's overlooking me. Like, he's talking about his next fights, he wants to fight this and that guy. And if he really thinks like this, it's a big mistake, and it's not very intelligent from him, because if he watched my fights and if he really knows who I am, he should know it's not an easy fight for him. So I hope he prepared well, because otherwise it will be very painful and it will be over very quick.
It's good that you're back, obviously, on the European circuit. It's a main card slot for you as well. How excited are you to be performing in front of the fans in the O2 Arena in London?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Especially, I have a connection to this place because I attended my very first UFC event as a fan here in London. It was UFC 95. Joe Daddy Stevenson against Diego the Nightmare Sanchez. Yeah. And I remember being first time in this big venue, seeing the UFC fighters, and I was like, one day I want to be here, And now, almost 10 years later, I'm fighting on the main card of UFC London, so it's great. It's a great story. I feel great about it, and it's good to be here.
I remember speaking to you post-fight in Stockholm, and at the time, before you knew how serious your hand injury was, you were really thinking, okay, you know what, I'm getting to that next level now. 1 or 2 wins away, and I should be, really pushing up the rankings. Almost a year later, is that how you feel? You feel like this win on Saturday night should propel you much, much further deeper into the rankings, and so you can have higher profile fights?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to overlook Leon Edwards, so my full focus is on him and this fight, but of course I have a long-term plan, And I looked up the rankings, he's ranked number 15, so if I beat him I will be number 15. And I heard rumors that the UFC was coming to Germany, so I mean the dream scenario is to beat him good, because I saw after the fight with Ben Saunders that it makes a huge difference if you only win or win spectacular, so the plan is to win spectacular. And then ask for a main event slot in the UFC Germany against a top guy, maybe. I think about guys like Damon Maia, Neil Magny, guys like that, So we see what happens, but I mean that's the plan. I'm 31 years old. I'm not getting younger, I'm fighting for 14 years. I feel my skills are there, and now I just have to stay healthy, win the fight, and then it really can happen. I believe it's a realistic scenario.
Awesome. And final question, when you close your eyes and you envision the fight playing out in your mind, how do you beat Leon Edwards? How do you get your hand raised in victory on Saturday night?
I see him falling down. I mean, my last fight, bones were breaking, either my bones or the bones of my opponents. In the last fight I broke my hand, in the fight before I broke the face for my opponent. I'm a very hard hitter, and I see him falling down. I mean, if he survives it, we will end up on the ground and then I will submit him, but my plan is not to only win, but my plan is to finish the fight, for sure. And I mean, I'm positive, and I think this will really happen. And I not only think it, I also feel it, so I think this will be the way.
Awesome. Good to see you, Peter.
Thank you.
Canadian brother.
I know. Good, very well. All right, so as we go around, I think we're going to go and say, hey, how's it going, brother? You're right. We're going to go around and hopefully spend some time with Jan Blachowicz, who is taking on Jimmy Manuwa in the co-main event. Let's sneak in here.
slotting in?
Top 10 already. If he signed contract with UFC, we will see now he's a free fighter. He don't have contract after the fight with Mamet, so maybe he is one of the best in the world also.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be in the top 10.
KSW getting a lot more recognition, I think, from around the world these days, I would say, especially over in America and here in the UK as well. When you look at the kind of quality of fighters that are fighting in KSW right now and compare them to the UFC, where does everyone kind of match up?
It depends, everyone's fighter is different,
Yeah.
They have to, fight together, and then we will know where are they. But I think the top 3 of KSW, they can be in top 10.
Bringing it back round to yourself and your fight with Jimmy. Jimmy's very confident ahead of this. He doesn't often lose here in the UK. He's won 2 straight knockouts here in London. He's promising a 3rd, but I'm sure you have a different kind of perspective on the way the fight's going to go, right?
Of course. For me, it doesn't matter. I want to win by KO, by submission or decision. After really good fight.
And after the fight, are there going to be any names in your mind that afterwards you want to fight?
Ask me after the fight, okay?
I will do. I'm definitely going to ask you. And I'm going to tell Alexander in a minute. You said you were better dressed than him, so maybe he'll be after you.
Okay.
Cheers, Jan. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, and welcome to England.
Hello.
What can the fans expect to see from you and Jimmy in the octagon on Saturday?
Sorry?
What can the fans expect from you and Jimmy in the octagon on Saturday?
Really great fight. It's going to be completely different than our first fight. It's going to be an exciting fight to watch.
How's your training been now you're back under your old coach? Is it you?
Perfect. Everything is perfect. No injuries. I'm healthy. Really good camp. Really good sparring partners. So I cannot wait to step to octagon and start punching with Jimmy.
You've won 2 fights in a row now. What do you hope for 2018? Do you think you can still get a title shot, or what's the plan?
After the fight?
If you beat Jimmy.
Maybe one more and then a title shot, but never know.
Do you picture yourself being champion of the division one day? Is that what keeps you going, keeps you fighting?
Always is on my mind to have a belt.
Does it bother you knowing the crowd are going to be with Jimmy on Saturday, or does that get you going? Does that keep you motivated?
It doesn't. I like to when the crowd is loud. I know they're gonna be support Jimmy, but I like when it's really loud on the arena. But also gonna be a lot of Polish fans over there, so I think you're gonna hit them too.
How much do you think about your previous fight against Jimmy in your preparation for this one?
I forgot about this fight a long time ago. I'm gonna be just different fighter. I don't want to remember the fight when I lost.
Do you think Jimmy's a better fighter now than he was then?
We will see. Day after tomorrow. I think so. He's gonna be the same fight with good striking, knockout power, strong. What they say.
And finally, what's your prediction for the outcome on Saturday? How do you see it ending?
I think that or KO or submission for me.
What do you make of Daniel Cormier going up to heavyweight?
If people want to watch, the UFC want to do this, so why not? Maybe one day I'll also going up with my weight and I will step to the heavyweight.
Do you think if he beats Stipe Miocic, do you think he'll come back to light heavyweight, or do you think he'll stay at heavyweight?
Maybe after this fight he'll finish his career. You never know what's going to happen.
Would that annoy you if you didn't get a chance to fight Daniel before you retired? Because let's be honest, he is talking about retirement and the last kind of few fights of his career here.
I don't care. If he will quit, so gonna be different champion, So I will gonna fight against different ones.
I know you were saying earlier that you forgot about your first fight with Jimmy, but is there value in that fight? Like, can you take something from that fight to take into this fight?
Yeah, I have to be different fighter. That's it. I cannot make this fight the same like our first.
But do you think you could learn from his patterns what happened that night? Do you think you picked up something about Jimmy that you can take into this fight?
Yes, of course. I know what I have to do to win this fight.
What's changed in the last couple of fights? Because you had a few losses and then you got back to the drawing board and you got a few wins now. Have you made any changes? What have you done?
To my old coach, one of my first. When I trained with him, with Robert George, I won everything before I signed contract with the UFC. After when I signed contract with the UFC, I changed gym, changed coaches, and everything was started going bad.
What did you change at that time?
I returned to him and trained in this way.
No, the first time when you signed the contract with the UFC and you changed. Gym. Why did you change the gym?
I don't know why. Because I think now I'm in UFC, so I have to be better, do something. I don't know why I'm doing this. What I'm doing. and that's it. Because I think that what I do now it's not enough. So I changed gym. I don't know why. Because I think that's better gym. I was wrong. And stuff like this.
So it's a good learning experience for you.
I'm not the most older fighter, but I'm not young, you know. So if I change coach, he start changing me, my style, my game plan, and this wasn't good for me. Now I come back, I do the same what was work, and listen, 2 weeks good for me to come back to my old coach.
Was it awkward when you came back? Did he not want to talk to you?
No, he was happy because when I leave him, we're not left like no, we talk by phone. What's happening? How are you? Good. Yeah, okay. So when I come back, it was normal. Yeah, okay, happy.
This is a division where like one win can push you up a lot of places, and Jimmy Mano is a big name. Do you feel like this is a way to put yourself on the map more than ever in this division?
I don't think about it, I don't want to put pressure on my head. Pressure is on the Jimmy side, so live like this.
You don't like thinking about, getting up the division and attention, you rather just think about
After
the fight?
I'm going to think about it.
Okay, alright. Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. Thank you. Alright, we've got Terrion Ware, Stevie Ray and Jack Marshman left to hopefully cover before they tell us to stop. Today's media day is...
Oh, wait a minute,
We've got the live stream. I'm here with Jim Edwards, and we are now looking at the clock. It's 12:10. We were allocated 45 minutes and it started at 11:45, so we've got about 20 minutes or so.
The best chance. Oh, Harry Kettle. Mate, that guy, I know who Harry Kettle is.
Well, you can talk to him now because there's a live stream going on.
Harry Kettle, how's it going, mate? Harry Kettle was the guy who was on the press conference once, and I forget what I mistook his name as. But I was like, who the fuck is Steamy Kettle or something?
We're going to have to shimmy in after she finishes because we've only got 20 minutes to get everybody out. Who's done so far?
He's a good talker.
Yeah.
Working on his name right now.
That's cool. But yeah, lastly, do you think that we need more title fights in the UK to get more fans in the game, especially compared to America?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think obviously the UFC has to look at numbers and stuff like that and really do all that or whatever. So, I think once the numbers start coming out, which I think will, again, it's big over here. The fans have been great. Even me not being from Europe, they've seen some of my fights and they're excited to see me come down here. I think as it gets bigger, I think we'll start seeing more title fights and multiple title fights and pay-per-view cards come out here. And then I think again, as the talent level rises out here and you guys become more popular, I know the Bama organization is really big out here and they're producing a lot of stars. Tom's come from there. So I think as that continues to grow, we'll see bigger fight cards out here.
Thanks, mate. All the best.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hi, Terrion. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome to London. First of all, I'm sure everyone's been welcoming you very warmly.
Absolutely.
Have you been to London before? Is it your first time?
First time in Europe, man. First time in London. It's awesome. It's amazing.
Well, what have you been up to? When did you get here? What have you been up to so far in London?
Got here Tuesday morning. Just been kind of like walking around, looking at the scenery, checking out some of the malls and stuff like that. It's a lot different from America. Really, really cool. And just kind of indulging in the culture. I told my family and friends when I come out here, I'm going to try to do all the non-American stuff I can out here. So
what does that list include so far?
It's just been eating some of the food, visiting some of the places, going in there and stuff that I'm unfamiliar with, and trying different things, and looking at some of the the sites and the buildings and stuff like that. So it's pretty much what I've been kind of doing. Because at home I'm more of a homebody, so out here I've been kind of like just trying to get out and be on the scene.
Are you going to extend your stay, or are you going to be flying out here Sunday, or what's the plan?
I got to fly out here Sunday, but I hope I can come back soon, whether it's for a fight or a vacation. I love it out here, so but my wife and 2 kids are back home. They want me to get back home as soon as possible, so I don't want to upset them. So the next time I come out here, I'll bring them out here with me, so I can stay a little longer.
Understandable. Well, this is a massive opportunity. This is a main card fight. It's like really awesome opportunity for you. Like, when did you get the call? You obviously found out that you're going to be fighting in London. What was your initial reaction?
I was super excited. Even before, after my fight that I had December 1st with Sean O'Malley, I took a couple of weeks off, got right back into the gym, to train. Because Sean Shelby let me know after the fight, we want to get you back in there soon. So I was preparing for either fight March 3rd in Vegas or even out here. Those are two. I love fighting in Vegas, but I also wanted to really come out here, my first time in Europe and fight out here. So I'd already been training for it. We got the call about 5 weeks out for the fight, and it was a no-brainer. So I was ready to go and accept the fight right away.
Looking back at the last couple of fights, in retrospect, is it almost easier for you to accept those losses, knowing how great Sean and Cody have looked as of late? They feel like they're one of the best in the division at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, as a competitor, it's bitter to lose, but you have to feel a little good, watching those guys. I felt like they've done better against other opponents than they did with me, so it makes you feel a little bit better about it, but at the same time, you want that bitter taste out of your mouth, and the only thing that gets that out of your mouth is winning, so that's what I'm looking to do.
Well, Tom Duquesnoy, he's a guy that had a lot of momentum, a lot of hype, a massive prospect coming out of Europe, and he's coming off his very first loss. What do you think he's going through mentally coming into this fight?
It's hard to say. A lot of people take losses differently. I would imagine his team is doing their best to reassure him of his skills and stuff like that. He's a really good fighter. Good heart as well too. So I'm sure his team's trying to put him back together and make sure that he doesn't lose any confidence or anything like that. And so there's no telling what he's thinking, but we're gonna find out on Saturday night.
Speaking of Saturday night, what are you expecting in terms of the atmosphere? It's the O2 Arena. It'll be packed. Do you thrive off that kind of energy?
Oh, absolutely. I grew up playing all kind of sports, baseball, football, basketball, track and field. So I'm used to being in those big stadiums where people were roaring and stuff like that. Being in the state finals of track, being in title games and playing football. I'm used to that atmosphere, and I feel like I thrive on that. I don't get nervous or anything like that. It's exciting for me. This is what I love to do. So being out here on a big stage in a big arena and the fans cheering or booing or whatever the case may be, it's exciting for me, and just to go out there and just do what I always do, is fight as hard as I can and try to get the job done.
And finally, when you close your eyes and you envision the fight playing out in your head, how do you beat him on Saturday night?
I think it's going to be an all-out war, but I think I can outwork him. I think it's going to be primarily a stand-up battle. That's what both of us like to do. We like to both come forward, so I think we're going to meet in the center of the octagon and go at it. Probably a couple of grappling exchanges, so I got to make sure I win those as well too. But I see myself outworking them and being able to get the job done.
Awesome. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Because obviously they won.
Prepared really well for this fight.
Good shout, Jim. Good shout.
You have to also plan your career
Terrion is.
He's got 15 charisma division, and then I think you can get to really big fights. Since
we've got about
the UFC is coming to Germany, I'm a German
13
fighter,
or so minutes,
it's a realistic
I
scenario.
believe, if we're going to keep on schedule until part one of the media day wraps up. Still hoping to get Stevie Ray. They're going to do them in the middle. Yeah, so we're going to wrap this up, do face-offs, and then it'll be the second half. So hopefully we can grab a few minutes with Stevie Ray and Jack Marshman. I think Jack's free. I'm going to go speak to Jack. Hey Jack, how's it going, mate? You right? Nice one.
I think people are generally surprised, when they think about fighting,
All right, Jack. First of all, we're just a couple of days away now from the fight. Are you looking forward to actually performing inside a packed O2 Arena? London's pretty much always a sellout.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I am into sport, really. And drop me down a weight class and something show what I can do at that, so it's good.
Yeah, speaking of the drop down, how's the weight cut going for you right now? Are you comfortable? Is it?
It's tough. It's not easy. I ain't gonna lie. It's a tough game, but it's what's going to be best for my career. So go.
What have you perhaps changed, if anything at all? Obviously, it's been a bit up and down for you in the UFC so far, right? So, What's been your assessment so far of your own performances, and what changes and tweaks have you made as of late?
Well, I'm just trying to go down a weight class, so I'm not giving that massive size advantage away, and I'm happy with my performances, even with my losses. The only one I wasn't happy with was the last one. But the first 3 fights I had, I was very happy with my performances, even the one I lost. I dropped Thiago Santos, he's top 15. I dropped him in the first round. I thought I was going to get him out in the second round. He caught me with the kicks. So, it happens, But my 2 wins, I've put on good performances. I had fight the night on one of them, and I put on a good performance in Glasgow. It's been up and down as in wins and losses, but I've been putting on good shows. So.
There's always talk about Dublin and now perhaps Liverpool. What about Wales? Do you think it's high time there should be a UFC event in Wales?
Yeah, well, I love it. Absolutely love it. We got loads of local fighters that are ready for the UFC already. It's like, I think the big issue is the arena sizes. I'm sure local points too small. The Principality and Edward McGregor on the card is too big. It's like that. We've got no in between stadiums.
This fight against Brad Scott, it's kind of like a battle of Britain, and Brad's been around for a long time as well. He's pretty much a UFC vet at this stage. What are you expecting out of Brad at this stage of his career?
Well, we've trained together and sparred together before, so he knows what to expect from me. I know what to expect from him. He's been around for a long time. He's his 8th fight in the UFC. It's my 5th. I've been around for a long old time as well. It's my 30th professional fight. I'm not been slouching, and I've been fighting high caliber of guys, and everyone knows how you can't go from right and go, he's shit. I thought, when my first 10 fights was against the top 10 UK guys, and then be progressing, getting better, and fighting the top level guys. So I know I belong here, so I'm looking forward to fighting Brad.
When you close your eyes and you kind of envision the fight playing out in your head, how do you beat Brad Scott on Saturday night?
I think I got a good chance of knocking him out. I got a lot of power, and I dropped down the weight. I don't really land a lot of power, so that's what I'm going in for. But I got the skills to beat anyone in any area. I'm progressing, I'm not slouching. I'm not just boxing gym 24/7. I'm getting better at wrestling, grappling. So like I said, it's my 30th professional fight. The only fight I've been submitted is against an elite level black belt world champion. So you're unlikely to get a sub out of me. So.
And final question for you: someone that's come up from the regional circuit here, how healthy do you think the local MMA scene here is in the UK, and do you think it's providing some good talent and the next generation of fighters for the likes of the UFC?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think you've got all your regional shows doing well, and then you've got your Cage Warriors, your Bahamas, and they're progressing the next pool of boys. So yeah, it's top quality.
Nice one. Good luck. Thanks a lot, Jack. Cheers, mate. Nice one, mate. Nice one. Stephen, 2 interviews while we're still waiting for Stevie Ray. When I got on Instagram. Does that mean you just happy to get in front of the new outlook, or the win is still the number one thing?
The win's still the number one thing, but I think in the past, if you're not enjoying it, what's the point? You've got to enjoy it all. You've got to, before I put far too much pressure on myself, just dreading the whole thing, and then before you know it, it's done. Win or lose, obviously you're happy with the win, but you've not even been able to enjoy the whole experience. So I'm just trying to enjoy the experience and not really thinking about the outcome as much. If you put in 100% of your ability, I've trained my arse off for 9 weeks, so I'm just going to go in there and let my stuff go, and if that's good enough to get the win, then cool, and if no, then it's no, but at the end of the day I'm going to make sure I enjoy it.
Like you said, you're very dangerous. Alright, thank you very much, all the best, thank you so much.
Hey Stevie, how's it going?
It's good, man.
Yeah. Very good, very good. So Jim over here joined by Stevie Ray ahead of his fight at UFC London on Saturday. He'd take on Cajun Johnson. Stevie, let's rewind a bit. Can you tell me, where were you when you got the call for this fight? What were you doing? Where were you?
Call for the fight. I actually can't even remember. I think it was just in my house. In my house. Driving home. home from a drip house, I think. I had just done a wrestling session. I posted up a kind of photo dancing after wrestling session saying I heard that Kabalov was out, and my manager was like speaking to me back and forth saying, you know, there was a wee bit like, oh, he was a bit annoyed to start with because he said that, oh, you've told everybody that Kabalov is out. The UFC hadn't even told his opponent yet and that, but to be honest, there was already the media people. I think yourself was one of them that had already posted up saying that Kabalov was out. I was like, it wasn't me that said that, you know, it's out everywhere. But yeah, so we were back and forth trying to get that fight. Obviously, my manager manages Kabalov as well, so that probably helped with getting the replacement. But yeah, I'd pretty much just been training away, not really for a fight, but just training, trying to bring my weight down anyway. Because I'd just started, like, you know, I'd been happy for a wee while, but before that, like, you know, I was in limbo, I was feeling rubbish. So for the past wee while, before even the UFC, I'd found my happy place again. I was coaching Braveheart MMA and training full time, pretty much enjoying life again. And then when I got the contract, I just put the cherry on the top.
Yeah, talk to me about kind of the emotions, I guess, when you did finally get that contract, because like you said, we had talked to each other a few times. I know you felt really down at some points, but it must have been amazing, like, when that contract was finally in front of you again.
Yeah, that's it, just a bit of relief. To be honest, I've kind of got to the point where I was just like, you know what, regardless of what happens, I'm actually happy doing the coach, like, with what I was doing. And it made me realise, like, money isn't everything, because when I was coaching, I'm not making anywhere near as much money as I am fighting, but I think, like, to a certain extent, sometimes I was happier coaching than I was training. And I think that was from the whole Paul Felder fight camp. Like I've said a few times, that I hated that fight camp. I jumped too quick in after the Luzon fight, and didn't enjoy the fight camp at all. And it's like, what's the point of doing it if you didn't enjoy it? Aye, for the money, but money isn't everything. You've got to enjoy life. So aye, like that's what I've loved about this fight camp. I'm happy. You know, it's a day before the weigh-ins and I'm feeling good. I feel like I can jump up and shadow box, and now I'm just buzzing, full of energy, and can't wait for Saturday night.
In a way, do you feel liberated a bit, just because you know, if the worst did come to the worst and I did get cut, there is life afterwards. I can make money, and there are other things I can do. So do you feel a bit freer, I guess, heading into this fight?
Yeah, that's it. And you know, the UFC is great, and there's potential money to be made, but there's a lot of risk with the UFC as well. Like, you only get paid when you fight, so there's a lot of, like, people didn't realise the amount of risk that's involved. Like, I could, you know, one of the fighters can go back to the hotel and get a sickness bug today. Does that mean they get paid for the fight? I don't know. I think you maybe get your show money because it's fight week, but it's not 100%. But even just getting your show money, it's a big difference in getting the win money as well. If you've got the kind of the show, and if the wins double the show, which is usually the case. So now with me coaching Braveheart MMA, I'm making regular income. You know, so there's financial security. There's that enjoyment as well. I've got something to focus on out with fighting, and I've got a good team around me so that when I am fighting, I've no distractions. I've got them kind of covered and whatever. You know, like obviously tonight there's classes, Braveheart MMA at my place in Victoria. I've got coaches covering it. I'm down here enjoying myself, and yeah, I just feel it's much better than having someone else on the go as well. And it kind of sets up that whole post-fight. You know, like you said, like the worst case scenario, like if I lost my next 4 fights and got cut for the UFC or whatever, then I've still got a bit of life, coaching, and I've got my kids and whatever else. But that's what I'm looking to do now. Just enjoy it. Enjoy the whole process.
Great stuff, Stevie. Thanks.
What's it like being managed by Ali Abdelaziz?
Yeah, it's great. Ever since I've signed with Ali, things have been going positive. Everything's great. You know, he got me the contract, and you know, he calls me almost not every day, but calls me every now and again. How's training? How's everything going? You know, just yeah, it's a really good relationship with Ali. And like I said, you know, if I didn't sign with Ali, I'm not sure I would be sitting here today. So really grateful that he's been able to do that for me. Yeah, hopefully Saturday night I can make it all worth it.
Nice one, Stevie. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Alright, so that's the part one of the media day wrapped up, and we will have the face-offs now, and then media day part two.
But still just kind of like see how they respond.
I think it's just a distance right now. Yeah.